Hey everyone, I'm Tom, and welcome to the Orange Chronicles, where I chronicle what I have been up to over the past week or so. And I do just want to quickly apologize for the video today. I'm getting over some kind of cold or something, so I know I sound even worse than normal, and there might be some very awkward cuts in here where I just randomly start coughing or sneezing, just because, that is life with a cold. But enough of the preamble, let's go ahead and get right into the books that I finished this week, and a lot of them are books that I talked about last week, but ended up finishing after recording the last weekly update. And let me say, I think it was maybe a mistake for me to not wait to film last week's because, man, not that my opinion changed, but my opinion just got elevated. I found another five-star book, which I didn't know at the time. I thought it was kind of teetering on that precipice, but after finishing the book, it absolutely was a five-star read. And let me just go ahead and talk about Howling Dark by Christopher Ruocchio. This is book 2 of the Sun Eater series. And yeah, this book blew me away. I guess I didn't realize it last week when I was talking about it. I probably had an hour or two left of the audiobook, and I figured I was pretty safe to go ahead and talk about the book, give my thoughts and everything. But I didn't actually say my star ranking, or at least I didn't think I did. Because at that point I was like, I think it's probably closer to a 4 than a 5. Like, do I truly love this book? And some stuff happens at the very end of this book. There's really just a conversation that happens between two characters that I just found to be absolutely impeccable. Some of my favorite writing, some of my favorite moments. There are just so many cool things that happen in this book that I was just like, what are you? Yeah, I love this book. It was kind of, when this book ended, I was like, I love this. And when I love a book like that, that's a 5-star for me. And so I didn't expect for this book to be that. I expected I'd have to get deeper into the series. Normally, I'm the kind of person who, the deeper into a series I get, the more I love and appreciate the series, just because I spend more time with the characters in the world, and it's something that I really enjoy, right? I think that's probably pretty normal for a lot of people. But yeah, just book 2 here in Sun Eater, I was just blown away by some of the concepts and thoughts and just the things that happen in here. I just feel are just, I don't know, it's exactly what I wanted out of this series. We're getting these big, crazy ideas, and like, I don't want to say too much, just I don't want to spoil anything, but it has just been absolutely fantastic. You can take everything I said last week and just add on to it. I'm so excited to get to the next couple of books. I'm so excited to get caught up. I am going to the event, the gala or whatever they're doing for the last book that's coming out in Raleigh. So I'm super looking forward to all of that, and just everything about Sun Eater I'm all in on. And I thought when I started this series, it had the chance to be an all-time new favorite. I've said multiple times that I didn't start this series when I first heard about it because I thought I was going to like it so much that I waited. Maybe not the best thing to do. I could have been like on the forefront of a lot of this stuff, but I just wanted to wait, and it's paying off. I think I might be right that this could be in contention for an all-time new favorite series, which is what you want, right? When you're reading and finding stuff, you want to find the stuff that is just absolutely the best of the best for you. Obviously, that's very subjective, and everybody's going to have different tastes. But yeah, Howling Dark, Sun Eater has just been chef's kiss, just absolutely amazing, and I'm so excited to continue on. Like I said, reading that, I will hopefully be picking up Queen Amid Ashes, before this month is over, and hopefully Demon in White? Starting Demon in White before this month is over, though it will obviously bleed in to next month as well. But yeah, very much looking forward to that. And it's awesome to have another 5-star. This year that's 3 5-stars this year, which is pretty high. Normally that's about the limit I get, and I have a feeling that maybe Sun Eater could have 1 or 2 more before it is all said and done. Next up, and this is a book that I mentioned that I was going to be starting, and it's not even, like, it's a short story. I think it's 23 pages long, but that is After the Animal Flesh Begins. I think I briefly talked about how this was a really strange book. It's actually a couple of short stories that are put together into being like 25 pages, but I had a really good time with it. I think it's free on Tor's website, whatever their new website is, or it's like $1 on Kindle. It's one of those weird ones that I would absolutely recommend that you read. I thought there was some really cool, thought-provoking stuff of like, what does it mean to live and consciousness, and there's just some like also some really interesting stuff about like parenthood and like care and stuff like that goes on in there. And it's one of those ones where I look at it as more of an experimental thing than anything super serious, where an author is just kind of like playing with some ideas, being thought provoking, right? Not really trying to like give you all the answers to anything, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good time. 3 stars. I mean, it's so short. Like, it's hard for me to give it any more than that, just because I thought it was good. And if you haven't, I would say, yeah, give it up, give it a chance. If you want to just try something super probably out of your normal comfort zone, out of the box, and just weird. Like, it's weird, but in a good way. And sometimes I think it's fun to just read some of that really weird stuff. And then the final thing I finished last week, and this is actually not a rehash of last week, this is something new, and that is A Covenant of Ice. This is book 3 of the Crown of Isha series. Oh, I'm forgetting the series name. It's the cold. this is the final installment of that. This is probably one of the most underrated stories I've ever read. I don't know anybody else who has read this. I don't know anybody else who has talked about it. All of these books, they're novellas. I think they're all under 150 pages, if not definitely under 200 pages. They're all super short, super well done. Character development is great. World building is great. Uh, Thought provoking in all of the best kind of ways. And I think this was a pretty solid ending to the series. I don't know if it's my favorite one. I still think the first one is probably my favorite, The Mountain Crown. That's probably still my favorite of all three of them, but they're all super good. This one, I mean, it ties everything up really nicely. You get some really great character moments. You get, just like all of these things that have slowly been building up. I think end up very well done in the series. This is definitely one that I highly, highly recommend if you have not read. Like I said, it is super, super short. Let's say you're behind your reading goals a little bit on Goodreads. You want to pump up your numbers a little bit. Not that that really matters, but you're a numbers person. You want to pump it up. These are three really great dragon fantasy books that you can add in that are all super short and super well done. I've said it before, the character work that's done in here in the number of pages that it's done in is better than so many authors that would take 1,000 pages. This entire trilogy is shorter than some single books that has more character development than trilogies that are quadruple the length of this. So I do still definitely highly recommend the series, this trilogy. It's been great, and I've had a great time reading it. And it's kind of sad that it's over and done with. I think it was a cool world, and maybe if there's some other stuff put in this world, I will read it as well. And then that brings us to the final thing that I am in the middle of, and that is this finally, Ben from Books from Genghis Khan. I have finally started it, and that is Darien Empire of Salt. This is, again, another very short trilogy. I think all three of these is under 1,000 pages, which is like less than a Stormlight book. So once again, I've been leaning into some of these shorter things while I'm reading the long books that are the Sunny series, and this has been super good. I'm about 40% of the way in through it, and this is really starting to kick for me now. It started off maybe a little bit slower than I would have liked. Not even slower. Slower's not even the right way, but you're getting a bunch of different perspectives. You're kind of just thrown in. Not in like a molasses way, but you're just kind of like trying to get your footing in the world, and you're with this character and then this character and everything. Your basic like multi-point of view fantasy story. But now that some of those things I'm used to, we're getting some of the plot to really start going, and you're learning a little bit about the world. This has been very good so far, and Ben, I'm very much thankful that you put this on my radar, and I'm very much looking forward to finishing that. It's not, like I said, I think this is like a 300 page. What is it? It's like 330 pages. 330 pages in a fantasy world. Like, I mean, come on, that is fast, and it is cool. I just want to say I'm not super deep in, but there's some like light magic, but like it's there and things are happening, and you like, I don't know all the rules yet, or if there are even rules, and so yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Looking forward to continuing on into that. And like I said, Ben from Books with Genghis Khan, this is like one of his favorite series, and Nico also really liked the trilogy. He read it also. I was on his channel just a couple weeks ago, and he also really liked that one, so I'm very much looking forward to getting into it. And it seems a little bit, not that it's like silly, but it's a little bit more lighthearted with like that tone of seriousness and stuff to it, at least from where I am right now. So I think it's just, I don't know, it's been a good separator between some of the heavier stuff that I have been reading. And yeah, it's been fun, it's been fast, and just like, it's been a good fantasy story, right? And sometimes you just need something like that. And then quickly, that is all actually, before I say that, that is all of the novel reading that I have done. I'm going to quickly switch over to comics, but I would love to know what you have read, finished, thoughts on anything that I have read so far. If you're going to pick any of that up, definitely let me know down below in the comments, or as always, you can hit me up on the Discord that is linked in the description. But with that being said, I'm going to now talk about some comic stuff, and I really only have one thing to talk about, and that is I'm going to be starting this. I haven't even started it yet, but that is going to be Superman Up in the Sky. This is going to be the next comic, that I tackle. It's like 140-ish pages or something. So not a super long one. I'll probably be able to finish this in 1 or 2 sittings whenever I get around to it. I know Jesse from It's Lit Book Reviews read this and told me that it's probably one of his favorite comics that he's read. So I definitely bumped this up my reading order. I was going to read Superman Birthright before this, but actually I decided to go with this one after I went back and saw that he actually was talking about this and not Birthright. I know Andrew and Jesse have both been really getting into comics, so it's been nice to be able to go back and talk with them as we're reading stuff. I know they're getting through Invincible, and we maybe are going to be talking about that at some point, which will be awesome if we do. And then just quickly on what I watched. So last night, my fiance and I watched The Lighthouse with William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. And I went into this movie with probably different expectations than I should have. I thought this was much more of a psychological horror thriller, and I know a lot of people who really like this movie. And I can't say that I hated it. and that it wasn't good. I really actually did like the way it was shot. I thought the black and white was really cool, and it just gave like a different perspective to the movie itself. But the rest of the movie, I don't know. It just didn't really work for me. I have people telling me that they love it. It's one of their like favorite movies, and I'm just like, why? Like I don't get it. What am I missing? And so sometimes with movies like that, I am always just like, am I missing something? I'll go and I'll like read the Wikipedia page, like the director's talking about all these different things. I'll go and look at to see like, did I just like blatantly miss something? And from all the reading, no, I got what it was going for. I just didn't like the way it was executed, I guess. The story of two manic people being manic at the same time, really. I mean, it's a little bit deeper than that, I guess, but and there's some other things that happen in it, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just missing something, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just one of those movies that maybe it's a little too highbrow for me. Like I said, I like the way it was shot. I really, really did appreciate the weird, not the weird aspect ratio, but the very like reminiscent of the 20s and 30s aspect ratio. The black and white, I think, worked super well. I think the sound design that happened on it, and there's this like foghorn in the background that's just like constantly kind of going, and it just adds to the tension that is happening throughout the story. I think all of that was great, but there was just so much of it that I also didn't think was great. And I don't know, it seems like one of those movies that was made for filmmakers, because there's so many things that only people in that world can appreciate, maybe. And me just being like somebody who maybe watches like 10 movies a year, if that 10 might be too high. I'm just missing out on some of that. But that has been my week. Obviously, I was also sick, which was always great. Missed the gym, hate that. And yeah, but definitely let me know how your week was. I'd love to hear about it down below in the comments as always. And like I said, in the description is the Book Street Boys Discord. It includes me and like not 8 other people, I think, or 8 other channels, because some of the channels is more than one person at this point. But yeah, definitely consider hopping on over there. You can message me. I have my own little channel, all that fun stuff. But as always, remember to read what you want when you want.